Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I'm here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And boy, that was fast. We're going to talk about the cast of Harry Potter, the trio, which has been cast, and we talked about it yesterday. And of course, there are some comments about race swapping and all of that. Okay, so most people though have been pretty supportive, I would say, on both sides of the political spectrum. However, I've noticed that the media is already making sure that that they're probably going to get harassed because JK Rowling is a transphobic.
Well, that's just it. They're probably get harassed. They keep saying that, but they're not mentioning it. Well, some of them mentioning it, that the people that are going to harass her are not the ones they would normally blame on harassing.
Yeah, they're going to be like,
it's their own side.
The alt-right chuds are going to, it's like, no. The people that are going to harass these kids, if these kids get harassed, are going to be the same people that were trying to harass John Lithgow, who I know a lot of you are way too young to remember this, but he actually played a trans character like 40 years ago. And he's even like, what's the problem?
Yeah.
What's the problem? Actually, it's probably like paycheck. Yeah. So it's going to be really interesting to see the mental acrobat, because like nobody wants to be the people that call for the cancellation of children, but they're also kind of like low key, kind of like, hey, the show never should have been made in the first place, and it's their fault for putting the kids in harm's way because she's
but a lot of them are
transphobe.
saying, protect the kids, which was what we said yesterday.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
But we're talking about protecting them from them,
from the people that want Rowling not here anymore.
Somehow them being in the show is makes them bad, and they're going to get harassed. That they are going to get harassed, and it's not going to be from people they usually blame it on. It's going to be for their own side.
Yeah, and the 42-year-old man that didn't get cast as Hermione.
That's right.
He's very salty. So anyway, we're gonna talk about this.
That.
we're gonna talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. You'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
Like, look, my official stance on the Harry Potter reboot is it does not need to exist at all. It's not because of JK Rowling's political views. It's because we just did this not that long ago.
I read the books and stuff, and I always read them. So for me, it was like having a show that was going to be more close to the book, because the movies, they cut out so much. It was important.
Yeah, that's true.
I was kind of excited about the idea, but as we're seeing casting and as we're seeing other things, it's like I really don't think it's going to be like the book, or they're going to say it's like the book, but they're going to leave out important parts because they're problematic.
The only thing that gives me some hope is I believe that, and I've said it before, I think the people that worked on His Dark Materials are working on this one, and that was pretty much the exact same situation. They had a movie, The Golden Compass. It had great special effects, but it was meh.
I don't like that movie. I'm sorry. I think it was
they cut a lot out from the book, and they tried to Hollywood it up, and they actually did right by the books, because I read the books. They did right by the books. They pretty much everything.
With the series?
With the series, yeah.
Okay.
Because you really needed the series to let it breathe a little bit. And
I guess what's going on here is you need a series, but I'm also kind of like, a lot of people are just, can we do something new? And I agree with you. I mean, I get that too. It's Harry Potter. The movies took years and years and years to do. We need to do it all over again.
Yeah.
But that being said, they're going to do it because they need money, and they've already cast the kids. And we talked about the other day, and not surprised. I mean, people weren't even surprised about Hermione because they changed her in the Cursed Child or whatever stage show. They knew she was going to be, not white, and that was fine.
Yeah.
I mean, some people argue it's not fine.
There are people complaining now that she's not dark enough.
Really? They always do.
You can never make everybody happy.
She sounds more like the way she's described in the book. I mean, but then you have the whole Snape debacle, which I still to this do not get that one. And there is the concern about, we talked about yesterday, about you have people that are like the half-bloods and the mud-bloods, as they say in the books, and then they're keep casting people that are ethnically darker, and it's like, well, that's not going to go very well.
What are you trying to say? I mean, it already did have kind of a racial bent to it, but it's like, okay, let's just make it really damn explicit that's,
But the problem we're going to have with the kids being harassed is going to come from the people who scream about harassment all the time.
Yeah, I think so. And that's been my concern.
That's what they're even saying in these articles. Yeah. They know it's going to come from these people too.
So here's the writer. This is for Metro. We got like 3 articles here. So here's Metro. They said, yeah, when I saw the news of an open casting call, this is a person who was a huge Potter fan, where anyone can audition regardless of experience for leads in the new series. I felt worry bloom in the pit of my stomach. Now our 3 newcomers have been cast. Who they all have awesome names, by the way.
They do.
McLaughlin, Arabella Stanton, and I love Alistair Stout. That is a dwarf name. He is a dwarven warrior, a ginger dwarven warrior. There you go. But my concern is increased. Yes, because you know what's going to happen. You already know.
We all know what's going to happen.
We know what's going to happen.
We've already seen it happen to the adults, so they're going to definitely go after the kids. They went after underage people in the Hogwarts Legacy game.
Yeah, there were anybody associated. There's one of the voice actors. I don't know if he was underage, but he was pretty young. But they went after him. He recorded lines like 2 years before JK made any of her comments on Twitter. Yeah, and they came after him and basically like, you need to recant and repent for having anything to do with that game. He's like, he did, but he's like, yeah, I did that work like years ago. Like, yeah. You know, it's like whatever. Before she made any of her Twitter comments, they said anyway, this is why they're worried. 2 reasons. Firstly, because I have left the Potterverse firmly in the past after JK Rowling's offensive comments on trans people and think the entire franchise needs to be forgotten about. But also,
so there's their first statement that they all lead with. Well, I'm in solidarity of hating Harry Potter now.
But also, this I call bullshit on. I'm truly concerned about what will happen to the new Harry, Ron, and Hermione plucked from childhood and obscurity and flung into stardom. Not only will this trio of unknown actors star in what will surely become one of the most heavily scrutinized TV shows this decade, but all under the creative jurisdiction of someone who has, in my view, opposed the rights of marginalized communities.
One, I don't think she has that much creative jurisdiction in this show.
She doesn't. She actually said she's a producer because she made the books, but she even said she had 0 input into the casting. She's not. They basically stick her name on it, and that's probably by design.
Almost sounds like it'd be threat to these kids. Yes, it'd be a real shame.
It'd be a real shame
if these kids get harassed and their careers are ruined.
But if they do, it's all your fault. It's all your fault for working with JK Rowling. If something bad happens to these kids.
But if you say, okay, so let's flip this around. If someone harassed a kid or something, and they said it was because that someone was on the far right or something harassing a kid for a show, they'd be like, it's not the kid's fault for being in the show, it's the troll for harassing. But in this case, it wouldn't be their fault. It's because those kids were in the show they shouldn't have been in. It's kind of like wait a minute.
I didn't realize. Okay, so yeah, apparently David Tennant was going at it.
Of course, David Tennant does. David Tennant's like the Mark Hamill of the UK.
Yeah, but I'm like, dude, that was one of your first roles. It was one of your first breakout roles.
True.
You were in Harry Potter. Like, I remember when I watched Doctor Who, I'm like, oh, that's the guy from Harry Potter. Yeah. I was like, bitch, talk about just like, I mean, all these people, most of them, except for Slytherin. Well, I guess he was Slytherin, but most of them have turned on her at this point. Like, look, you don't have to agree with her opinions. I personally think she needs to put the phone down occasionally because she's constantly on there. And I don't even know if she promotes her books or anything anymore. I think she's just on there talking about politics.
I don't care what side you're on politically. I think the problem becomes when you are incessantly going on about politics all the time. I think it ruins, especially if you're a person who is known as for a role, or you're an actor or someone like JK Rowling who wrote the books. People might have had like an affinity for you or felt very connected to the character or always thought you were like a hero. And then because you don't shut the fuck up and you're constant, and this is on both sides, that it just makes people like, turns them against you.
This is a threat. This is like low-key wishing for bad things to happen to these kids. They're like, well, just to remind you all, during the height of the Potter movies' popularity, Daniel Radcliffe, Rupert Grint, and Emma Watson, they were struggling. Emma almost called it quits. I did know that. She was going to quit like halfway through. And Daniel struggled with drinking. He struggled with drinking heavily. So I'm seriously impressed with these actors, not only for their stability in life, but for remaining firm allies of the trans community as it remains under attack from Rowling. So I worry for the young soon-to-be stars stepping into their shoes for a rebooted series that no one's asking for. This is a low-key threat. I just
want the series to happen just because it'll piss these people off.
I'm serious. They're like, oh, like you said, it'd be a real shame if they wound up, drug addicts or something, wouldn't it? And it'd be all your fault, JK Rowling. It'd be all your fault if something bad happens to them.
They've made it clear that she's a producer on it, but she really isn't involved too much with it.
It's already a PR nightmare with a controversial author behind the source material and constant speculation.
Author, but you all lauded when she retroactively made Dumbledore gay and everything else. There was no indication of it in the books. She later went and did it. And y'all are like, oh my gosh, yes, queen. She's our representation. She understands us. She's for us. And now you're like, that's a bigot. This is so funny to me.
This article is fucking disgusting. There are all the elements for disaster waiting to happen. And while for me, Schadenfreude is tempting given her behavior, I'm worried these innocent children will be collateral damage. There's so many reasons for fans and non-fans like to oppose this new series.
How about you say, do an article saying, hey, I understand you might have a problem with Rowling, but it's going to move forward. Don't harass these children. That's what you had to say. But they're not. They're basically like low-key implication. Like if somebody would go do that, wink, wink.
Yes.
That's how it comes
the whole
across.
thing is like, we have to protect these children. Let me tell you why they're going to be damaged. And it's all J.K. Rowling's fault. And if you support her, well, it's your fault too. Their blood is on your hand.
These children need protected because the far left nut jobs are going to come after these kids, is what you're basically saying. I'll translate it for you. At least they're not blaming it on the right this time, but the people that are the extremists, as far as like that kind of stuff is concerned, are probably going to go after these kids. Is what these articles are basically saying without having the balls to say it.
Wow. Okay. It gets even better. This is a threat. This is what
it comes across as a threat.
I can't read this any other way. Not only can the Harry Potter set, in my view, never be a safe environment for trans non-binary actors, but given the increasingly foul taste Rowling is leaving in her critics' mouths, the whole project appears to be growing more taboo by the day. Unlike the blockbuster film franchise, which saw iconic British stars pass through its doors, for me, the relaunched big budget TV show will act as a litmus test for the morals of established actors like John Lithgow, who played a trans character 40 years ago.
So you're just basically saying it's a litmus test. These kids don't have morals. That's what you're just basically saying.
This is the final sentence. Get this shit. How many will want to risk potentially losing the respect of their fan base for an unnecessary remake of a fantasy series?
So it would be a real shame.
It'd be a real shame.
Basically, they're saying, here's the kicker, though.
Wow.
Let's rehash here a minute. Remember Hogwarts Legacy? They tried this shit. Hogwarts Legacy still sold gangbusters. Then you had the critics and stuff that were saying this kind of stuff, like this person was making accounts that weren't traceable, huh?
I guess there's more. So many ads I couldn't tell.
Well, it was untraceable. They were trying to block it that people wouldn't know they were playing it anyway. And it still sold. They tried to make these threats then, and it still sold that crazy because people aren't listening to these people. They don't care. Majority of people are just like Harry Potter, yay.
Exactly. This is what we talked about. We talked about in another video today that there's a huge difference between normies and seeing something they want to watch and the terminally online. Hogwarts Legacy was a good example. Oh, wow, a Harry Potter RPG. Wow, it looks pretty fun. Let's go buy it. They didn't give a shit what these journos thought. They're like, no, Harry Potter RPG, yes, sold, boom. People are lining up to go to Epic Universe to go see Ministry of Magic, right? If the trailer, now it all depends. This thing might be a complete shit show. The trailer might look like ass. And it might be like, yeah, you should have done this. But I'm like, so much is riding on this. I don't think Warner Brothers can afford to screw this one up.
No, but it doesn't matter. If they get everything right, there's going to be people, and they're going to start making threats against the kids. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to threaten the kids because they're going to try to leverage those to thinking that people up in the higher ups in Warner Brothers will cancel it. It's probably
that's exactly it. Like, oh, you didn't listen. You didn't listen to us. Yeah. You didn't listen to us. You didn't listen to us when we got those game developers canceled that just happened to work on the game. You didn't listen to us when we threatened to boycott this or boycott that. You didn't listen to us when we gave your game a 1 out of 10 just because we thought it was horrible. You're working with Rowling. Are they they're going after the media? Are they protesting Hershey's chocolate because they work with the Harry Potter brand? Are they Lego goldfish crackers? And those butterbeer goldfish crackers are pretty damn good, by the way.
Very good.
I can't find them anywhere. I think they sold out. I think they had like one batch of them, and I'm like, those damn things are good. but they're not. It's selective. It's okay. They're journalists in the media talking about nerd shit. So this is their space. They're going to try to control it. Games. You know what?
I was gonna say. Meanwhile, though, Epic Universe keeps having 5-hour plus waits for the Ministry of Magic ride.
Yeah. It looks impressive.
Yeah, they totally hate Harry Potter.
Some went down last week to check it out opening day, and he said it was very impressive. That whole area is impressive, and it was busy. I'm sure they sold a lot of butterbeer and a lot of wands, and that's what they're thinking. That's all they're thinking. At the end of the day, they're like, how many wands and how much butterbeer are we gonna sell? Because we're gonna milk Harry Potter. That sounds so bad. Anyway, good luck to the new Harry Potter children. Here's another one, right? They're like, good luck, everybody. Good luck, everybody. It's fantastic. And then we get down to it, and they're like, oh, yeah. The fan reactions to previous casting updates haven't been amazing. In response to news that Papa Sidu is going to be playing Snape, HBO's Instagram comments were filled with diehard Potter fans insisting that the fake wizard character be a white guy.
Because the character in the book was very well described as someone who was very pale. And here's the kicker. You keep telling us you're going to make it like the book. So, of course, people are going to point that out. It was a really dumb choice. It really was. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So here again. They're all really cute, guys. All these kids look really cute. And yeah, the casting is good. Oh my God, they kept Ron Weasley as a ginger. Isn't that cool? Is that cool? But wait, it's problematic. Let me tell you why. They're all very cute. And Stout has red hair, which I believe were the only casting requirements. Daniel Radcliffe, Rupert Grint, and Emma Watson have all spoken about how comfortable and protected they felt starring in the movies. Okay, so what's the problem? So hopefully these new children feel the same. Unfortunately for them, they're coming into a slightly more fraught situation than their predecessors. Not only is there all the controversy surrounding Harry Potter's creator and the HBO series executive producer JK Rowling and her transphobia, but fan reactions haven't been amazing. But, good luck to them. It'd be a real shame.
Fan reactions to what? The casting of Snape? Well, that
Snape,
makes sense.
Because
no one's saying that fan reactions they're coming after kids. The only ones coming after kids, and basically what you guys are translating this to is that it'd be really bad if these kids get harassed by people that you support. That's what you're telling me.
Here's a comment. One comment. I think it sucks these kids are essentially being used to further enrich one of the world's most powerful transphobes. Something I hope to God I am wrong. I'm just telling you, HBO, you've got to have some damn good security on set. Because I think low key there are going to be some people that are going to be real happy if there's something bad happens.
Anybody's going to physically harm them, but they're definitely going to try to cause them, to make
mental
them upset.
anguish.
And I hope their parents or guardians keep them well away from the drama online. And it's going to be coming mostly from one side.
Yeah,
it is what it is. People need to watch these kids and take care of them, because I agree with them on that. But I'll flat out say it. They don't have the balls to say it. We got to protect these children because the nut jobs on our side that we support are going to go after them. That's what they're too chicken shit to say.
Yeah. Yeah. But right out of the gate, this is Rachel Leishman, which again, I agree with the sentiment, Rachel, that these kids need to be protected. I think that they're going to come into
that before your articles came out.
The very beginning, we said whoever they cast, they're walking into a minefield. And I'm sure they're aware. I'm sure the parents are very aware. But
sure
they could also,
told, yeah.
Hey, yeah. I mean, seriously, just a simple Google search. What do people think of JK Rowling now? But then, it might be a case of they realize it's a tempest in a teapot. I'm sorry. As much screaming as there is online about JK Rowling, her books are still selling. Barnes and Noble has a massive section of Potter stuff. It always sells.
Well, every time I'm over there, there's a bunch of people in the section buying stuff.
Yeah.
Every time I go to that Barnes and Noble, there's people grabbing stuff out of the section.
The general public is not paying attention, most of them, to whatever tweets she's tweeting that day. A lot of people don't even know who the hell she is personally.
People weren't even aware that she was doing it.
Probably not. And the media's like, well, it's our duty to make sure everybody knows when
the ones who are reading your articles already know, but the majority of people either don't know or don't care. Sorry.
So Mary Sue, yeah, we got her. She's saying this is Rachel Leishman, who's the only full-timer left, I think, over there. They're already going to be part of a show surrounded by negativity. But I do agree with this, though. They said, it's cool that they're going to probably get the spew storyline in there. But Hermione basically is trying to free the elves, the house elves. Is the whole thing they cut out of the books. But they said, how's it going to look with Papa Sidhu's Snape being a muggle racist towards Hermione Granger now? Like, that's going to be odd, right? But yeah, there's a sour note. You know, the kids were announced. To those of us who do not support JK Rowling's transphobic views, do not want to watch the series or give Rowling's pockets more money, which means that the show as a whole is going to have a lot less open-hearted viewers watching.
I don't think it's going to, because you guys didn't impact anything on the Hogwarts Legacy game. I don't think you guys have
nothing. There's
the
nothing.
poll. You got 5-hour wait for Harry Potter rights. You guys screaming about it has changed nothing.
Yeah, that's the takeaway from this. Like, this is a tempest in a teapot, because the general public, like, look, these companies, and it's the same with us even. Like, we might complain about stuff on YouTube that we don't like or whatever, but at the end of the day, it's the general public that decides to see a movie, not see a movie, buy a game, don't buy a game.
We're just going to predict what the public's going to do.
Right. I mean, you can even have 1 million views on an anti-video or whatever about whatever. But if the movie's making bank and the comics are making bank and the cartoons that's all they care about, right? Harry Potter makes bank. It's like the new Star Wars. Actually, I would say objectively, I think Harry Potter financially is in a better place than Star Wars is.
Yeah, I would agree with that. But they go on here and said, and with fandom projects, that tends to have a mean, louder, grosser, and what they say, fans are going to be louder and grosser. Yeah, it's hard for me to read because it's very tiny on my screen. But but the people that we're worried about going to harass them aren't the ones you usually write articles about and blame. There,
right?
Rachel.
They're going to look for. I can already tell you how it's going to go down. They're going to look for 1 or 2 racist remarks about casting or whatever, and be like, look, it's the alt-right making these kids feel unsafe. Not the people that were literally making threats and death threats and they got people fired from their jobs for working on Harry Potter games.
I'm worried about these kids, and I'm worried about these kids. Usually followed by with that, joke of a person, JK Rowling and all this other. She's a transphobe, and the people are mad because the people that are going to harass them and threaten them aren't the ones you usually blame. It's going to be people that you are claiming you support. And you're trying to say, we should protect the kids because I know that the people that we usually support are going to come after them. And I kind of want to distance myself a little bit, but I want to make sure they also know that they kind of deserve it. It's kind of the vibe I'm getting.
Yeah, she's not as bad as that.
No, Rachel Aisha was nowhere near as bad as the other people.
This is the correct, like, look, don't shoot the messenger. These kids were hired to do a job. But the thing is there are crazies out there that they're going to be like, well, it's all JK's fault. They shouldn't have gotten involved. Collateral damage. They literally, this Metro writer called the children collateral damage. That's probably gonna be the title of the video. They're collateral damage, which is a horrendous thing to even, but I mean, the truth, it's not going to go well. And they're going to be on the show for like 10 years.
Yeah. So, I
these crazy ass mofos for 10 years.
Translation, because they're all too chicken shit to say it, is we need to protect the children from the far left nut jobs that are going to come after them. And these are the people that we are supporting. The people we support are probably the ones that come after them, but they won't say that because they're too chicken shit to say it.
Yeah, well, it needs to be said, and I'm sure there's somebody there that's had a talk in with even John Lithgow's like, yeah, I don't give a shit, and he played a trans character 40 years ago. He did it before like anybody else, right? And he's like, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, but he's also an older adult who isn't going to be as influenced by social media and shunning, cancellation, and potential ruining your whole career as these kids might be. As those threats, they might hold no water in reality, because I don't think the majority of people are going to treat them in the way that this small group would. Yeah. But I mean, they're also of the age to be most intimidated by that kind of thing.
Yeah, this is going to be, I mean, look, we're what, like a year and a half, 2 years out from this thing even dropping, and it's like already like, man, it'd be a real shame. That's basically
what it comes across as.
Yeah.
She's a terrible person and a transphobe and blah, blah, blah. But we shouldn't hurt those kids.
Don't hurt the kids
tell your people
intentionally, but if something bad happens,
They shouldn't have been in the show, or they should have canceled the show so it never was made, and then these kids wouldn't be harmed.
Yeah,
that's basically the implication.
This is a horrible take, Metro. This is a horrible article. You shouldn't have posted this. Anyway, we're gonna wrap this up.
Yep.
Good luck to those kids. Good luck.
Don't harass the kids.
Do not harass them.
Casting's bad. I mean, you really shouldn't harass anyone, except for the people that are making the dumb decisions to begin with. But definitely don't harass the kids.
Yeah. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.